Hi, I'm Mithila Hawk.
Hello, I'm Cesar Zamora from Mexico, and we are both Level 1 certified CIT facilitators.
So, hello everyone. Welcome to all of you to this workshop. Today, my colleague Cesar and I will be conducting this 20-minute workshop on emotional awareness. But before starting this workshop formally, I want to share my experience of exploring Compassionate Integrity Training Program or CIT in my own life and how I see CIT in my life right now. So first, I learned about CIT from a workshop that I did on peace building with UNESCO MGIP. And when I first learned about CIT, I really loved it because in CIT, we see that it is an ethical, mindfulness based, and ethical, value based training program. And not only that, it is also included the approach of social emotional learning in the program, which I really loved. And I thought that it is super effective for peace building, social harmony, and also personal well being. So as I became more and more interested, I explored the complete compassion integrity training by myself with the support of UNESCO MGIEP. And then I think I started to see true transformation and change in myself, which I really loved. So when I first started CIT, I started to learn about ethical mindfulness, about which I had no idea before. And not only that, I also learned about many positive skills like empathy, compassion, forgiveness, self-compassion, gratitude, and many more. And all the skills really helped me to cultivate all the positive habits and all the positive uh, mindset that I really wanted to cultivate it for a long time. And I also realized that when I didn't know about CIT, I had lots of anger, resentment, jealousy in myself, uh, all of which actually kept me down for a long time and also make the relationship bad that I had with other people around me. So CIT kind of gave me a new freedom that I never experienced before. I started to see difference in myself. I started to see positive uh, changes, and I started to see the development of relationship with others, with other people who are around me. So this gave me a freedom, and I don't see CIT just as a training program itself. I also see it as a journey for myself. And I believe if people of the world practice the skills of CIT more and more in their life and also use them for their social relationship, this world would be a better place. So with this belief, I also facilitate CIT at present with uh, people like all of you. So today I have my colleague Cesar with me, and I really want to learn about his own experience, how he came to know about CIT and how he sees CIT in his own life. So Cesar, will you share your experience with all of us?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mitela. As actually, CIT, my first experience with CIT was also thanks to UNESCO MGIP and Life University in 2019. And for me, it was a great journey. Just the way you describe it, it is perfect. There are so many ways in which CIT has have an impact on my life. But if I have to choose just one, I will say that CIT teach me how to be more compassionate with myself. For many, many years, I was struggling with this feeling of dissatisfaction in my life. Nothing I did felt like it was good enough. I always was chasing for more. So I had to do more, be more, accomplish more. And I was telling to myself, if you do this, if you accomplish this, then you will be happy. And without realizing, I was trapped in this unhealthy mental state of unrealistic expectations. CIT really made me realize that I was looking for happiness outside rather than inside, and that I was good enough. And what I have done no matter how big or how small, it was significant, it was meaningful. It really helped me to see myself and the world around me with different eyes, with more kindness, with more gratitude, with more compassion, and with more hope. Let me begin by sharing with you how CIT and the skill that we're going to cover today, which is emotional awareness, it is part of this compassion and integrity training. CIT, or Compassion and Integrity Training, is a research-based, multidimensional training program designed to help participants how to cultivate social, emotional, and ethical skills that lead to compassion for ourselves, compassion for others, and how to make a world a better place. It is available in a facilitated version led by facilitators like Mitela and myself and others around the world, and also and a new self-directed version, which was developed with UNESCO MGIP. Mitela, why don't you share with us then the skills and the concept that we're going to cover today for emotional awareness?
Thank you, Cesar. So today we will be guiding you through one of the skills that we discuss in CIT, which is called emotional awareness. And it is one of the skills that we actually facilitated in Series 1, where we discuss about self-cultivation. We focus on ourselves on that part. So emotional awareness is a very important skill that I think we all should learn. And it is the ability to be aware of the rising and falling of our mental experiences on a moment-by-moment basis. And also to differentiate between the beneficial and harmful mental state for oneself and also for others. So this skill can help us not only to cause harm towards ourselves, also it can help us to avoid harm that sometimes we cause unconsciously towards others around us. And it is very important if we want to achieve greater well-being for ourselves and also for our community where we live in or works, and also for the world. So, Cesar, as I mentioned in my definition about harmful mental state, will you please share with us that what harmful mental states are?
Absolutely, Mitela. Thank you very much. So let's start by defining what we mean when we say harmful mental states, and what's the difference between harmful mental state and beneficial mental states. Harmful mental states are those mental states that distort our perception of reality. There's different emotions that, for example, jealousy or anger or hatred, that will distort how we perceive reality, how we perceive the action of other people, their intentions. So what happens when our perception of reality is distorted, or when our perception of reality it is obscure? So when that happens, you can imagine how can that lead to problems for us and for other people. And of course, that will lead us to suffering, to unhappiness, to discontentment, and as well to more harmful situations like division, like hatred towards others, or hatred towards ourselves. So, Micaela, why don't you please share with us the complete opposite, which is our beneficial mental state, and how beneficial mental state have the opposite effect.
Thank you, Cesar. So as we have already learned from Cesar that what are the harmful mental states, let us focus on the beneficial mental states. So beneficial mental states are our attitude, emotion, and perspectives that can lead us to more happiness, and also they can lead us away from suffering that we often cause to ourselves and towards others. For example, we have seen from different scientific research and also from our life experience that when we start cultivating more and more gratitude, forgiveness, compassion, generosity in our lives, they lead us towards more happiness, and also they can make our relationship with others better. So this is how beneficial mental state can bring more and more positiveness and beneficial impacts in our own, in our personal life and also in our social life. So Cesar, why don't you share with us the difference that we often see between beneficial and harmful mental state and positive and negative emotion that we see in our day-to-day life?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mitela. One of the things that we should keep always in mind when we talk about mental states, it is that neither beneficial or harmful mental state, no mental state, it is fundamentally harmful or beneficial, and we try not to call them right or wrong or just positive or negative or good or bad. We don't try to put those labels on those mental states because all mental states are natural, and any mental state could be both, and depending on the circumstances and whatever it is leading towards that greater well-being or a greater suffering, and it is distorting reality. For example, an emotional state that we always can think about, like something perhaps positive, like joy, feeling joy for our lives, feeling joy for for the happiness of other people. Of course, it is beneficial. But for example, if joy for the suffering or the misfortune of other people, I enjoy that other people suffer, of course, that's a distortion of reality. And ultimately, feeling joy for the suffering of others or the misfortune of others can lead to suffering, and of course, it will never lead to a better relationship with other peoples and to a more harmonious world. So that's very important that we distinguish and we don't just essentialize that some mental states are harmful always, or some others are some mental states are always beneficial. They can be both, and neither can be fundamentally positive or negative. So Mitela, why don't you please share with us a little bit more about how beneficial mental states or harmful mental states can lead to greater well-being or greater suffering, using this metaphor that we'd like to use of the spark and the forest fire.
Thank you, Cesar. So we have already learned that how harmful mental state can bring in our life more harmful events and suffering for ourselves and for others. On the other hand, we also learned that beneficial mental state can lead us towards happiness and more and more less suffering in our life and for others as well who are surrounding us. So here, the initial sensation or mental state, we can think of them as the spark that can lead us to a forest fire if we do not consciously think of them, and if we cannot if we cannot bring us to the resilience zone on that time by taking a pause. So by learning not to get caught by our harmful mental state, we can learn to interrupt those harmful thoughts and action, and instead focus on beneficial ones that diffuse the spark. So right now we will learn more about the metaphor that I just mentioned, which is called the spark to a forest fire, from a video that is made by one of our colleagues. So let's watch the video.
When you're emotionally aware, you're capable of discerning the difference between beneficial and harmful mental states by observing them more clearly in the present moment. But what's the relevance of this ability in our daily lives? Imagine you had a hard or upsetting conversation at work. Without emotional awareness, it could be difficult to bounce back and go about your day. You may take the conversation home with you by driving erratically or picking a petty argument with an unsuspecting stranger at the store. By the time you reach home, you're ready to vent your pent-up emotions to your family. The seemingly small situation at work has now spread to all other facets of your life and is out of control. We summarize this concept of mental proliferation as a spark turning into a forest fire. A raging forest fire is incredibly difficult to put out, but it wasn't always so unstoppable. It likely began from a single tiny spark. Had this spark been caught in time, anyone could have easily stamped it out. Now, as a full-blown fire, it's much more difficult to extinguish and has a chance of causing a lot of destruction. Mental proliferation takes over so quickly, you often don't realize it's even happening. That an angry outburst, for example, was the final stage in a series of many mental events that cascaded out of control from an initial moment of frustration. This is a natural process in your mind and body, but you can learn how to take control and put out those tiny sparks before you start a mental and emotional forest fire.
So if, as we watch the video and if we think about it more deeply, we can see that in order to learn how to stop spark turning into forest fire, we need to take a little bit of time for ourselves. We can take pause and reflect on our thoughts and emotion and mental experience that is going on at present moment in us. So Cesar, will you please share with us the practice that we do to cultivate emotional awareness, which is called resting the mind in its natural state?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mitela. Another practice that we can always use to try to calm ourselves, and when we feel that a spark is turning into a forest fire, it is the practice that we call resting the mind in its natural state. This practice helps us how to cultivate this skill of emotional awareness. And this guided audio practice starts by settling our bodies and our minds by focusing on our breath. Then, after focusing on our breath for a couple of seconds, we ask you to try to move your attention from your breath to your inner body sensations. After that, you will try not to get attached to any of the thoughts, feelings, or sensations that arise on your mind at that moment. You will try simply to allow them to remain there, to be present, and eventually to pass away naturally. One of the metaphors that we use to describe this, it is the metaphor of the blue sky. Our minds can be thought as like the blue sky, that it is always present, always clear, always luminous. And despite all the clouds, all the birds, all the rainbows, the snow that is present on it, the sky doesn't show any preference for any of those things. The sky shows that all those objects can be present and can dissipate naturally. It doesn't hold into any of them and try to push them away. So, Mitela, why don't you share with us how this practice of resting the mind in its natural state and using this metaphor can lead us to equanimity?
So with this practice, we are cultivating the skill of equanimity, which will allow us to be less reactive to our thoughts, feelings, and sensation. And it will also prevent you from going from spark to forest fire. So we hope that you will try it. We invite you to try this practice by visiting our website and to listen to the audio recording. And our website is www.compassionateintegrity.org/practice-recording. And this is all from our side for today. And take care and keep practicing CIT, and also check our courses that is continuously going on. You will see all the updates in our website. And also we are launching a new course with UNESCO MGIP, which is a self-directed learning course that you will also find in our website.